Kevin, Jill, Catherine, and well, Rand is going to come. Let's do the first section of the form a couple of times just to warm up a little bit, and then and then you guys are going to go through the first few moves and tell me what the yin and yang cycles are. All right, so from the beginning. Yeah, Kevin, get your scorecard out. Good. I'm going to do the first one. You guys are going to do the next ones. We went over this, but I'm just going to repeat it. Yin and Yang cycles. Wind up, hit. That's one. Wind up, hit. That's two. Wind up, hit. That's three. Wind up, hit. That's four. All right? So the beginning of the first move, or you could just say it's the traditional first move, there's four. In village style, old Chen style, it looks like this. Instead of four, there's one. All right? They're not good or bad, they're just different. But I want you to be able to see underneath the surface. So if you watch a practitioner from Chen Village, you'll know what he's doing. Okay, he's doing it differently than the way we're doing it, but underneath, the elements are the same. The yin and yang cycles, the winding up and the hitting. Our style, in some ways, is more complex than village style because it's had a lot of attention paid to Qigong, the underlying Qigong, the underlying manipulation of the energy body. It's not that that's not in old Chen style, it is in old Chen style. The difference is old Chen style is in a way a lot harder to learn because they're just assuming that you live in Chen Village and your uncle and your grandfather and your dad all practice Tai Chi and you can learn from them. All right? So it's what you're doing is less obvious in village style. In the Beijing frame of Chen style, in our Hunyan Tai Chi, more Qigong has been added in to give you practice in what's happening inside, and also to give you clues, visual and energetic clues, so you can understand. It's easier to understand what's going on. So they just start like this. We don't. We start like this. But the truth is, if you learn Chen style from Chen masters, you're doing the same thing on the inside. It's just invisible. All right? So for us, this is grounding yourself and then pushing off from the ground. If you don't understand village style, it'll look like they're not grounding themselves. They just start and they go up. But the truth is they are grounding themselves. It's just you're not going to see it. All right? So what do I mean? All right? It's like I don't know whether you can see this. All right, even with the Dan Chen Q on here, I doubt you can see it. Watch this. Can you see it? It's very small. 1, 2, 3. 3. All right? They ground themselves and then they come up. If you don't know where to look and how to look, you're just not going to see it. So they're doing the same thing that we're doing. We just take that same movement and go, okay, let's let's exaggerate the size of that so no one can miss it. All right. And in addition, um, by exaggerating the size, you've turned it into a Qigong exercise, just like it's a Qigong class. So what are you doing? Kevin, what are you doing when you do that? What's the Neigong?
You're going up into your Tanjong, then back to your Ming Mun.
Yeah, you might not even go as high as your Tanjong, but what is the geometry of what's going on inside there?
It's
Watch
a
my
reverse,
wrists. Watch my
well,
wrists. What are my wrists doing?
a reverse Lee circle.
It's a reverse Lee circle. All right? So you need to be doing a reverse Lee circle inside. The reverse Lee circle on the outside is only there because it's mirroring what's happening inside. It comes up the front, it goes over the dantian, it goes down the back into the ground. Be very gentle. Old Shin style, they're doing the same thing, but you're not going to see it. It happens in the mind and the energy body. You're not going to see much in the physical body, but they are grounding themselves. It's just you're not going to see this part of it. They ground themselves and then they come up again. So they're doing the same thing, which means that Hunyan Tai Chi is a different teaching frame. It's a different practice frame. Personally, I think it's a really good one. If you grow up in Chen Village, you probably don't need that. But how many of you, raise your hand if you grew up in Chen Village? That's what I thought. Not me either, I was just demonstrating. I didn't grow up in Chen Village. So learning the Beijing style makes the learning process so much faster and so much deeper, believe it or not. Yeah, Kevin.
I spent years learning Yang style, and you don't get any of this, and you have no freaking idea what's going on inside, much less the application side.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like, now to me, that has to do with the teaching philosophy. It's not that young masters don't understand this stuff, but they just don't teach it. And it's like, well, then why are you even bothering? No offense, but why are you even bothering to do this? Right? You might as well just have a dance class. Right? Dance classes are good, but if you're going to do a Tai Chi class, do the inside, do the Neigong. That's what makes it Tai Chi. Okay, so again, I'm going to be watching when I analyze this for myself. Let's say I've never done this form before. So I'm watching on video. I'm watching somebody do this form, Master Zhang or Master Feng, and I'm watching and okay, I'm just going to do the first part of the first move, and I watch them, and I'm what are they doing? Not the typical. Well, you raise both wrists and then you turn to the right and then you do that's bullshit. That's just bullshit. All right. You start in the center. Right? What is the center doing? It's flipping over and going down. Then it's flipping over and going out. Then it's reversing, going up and pulling down. Then it's flipping over backward and pressing down. That's what's happening. And if you pay attention to the places you wind up and the places you unwind. The places you wind up and then the places you hit. Now you'll understand the silk reeling. And once you understand the silk reeling, then you understand the yin and yang cycles, because they're the same thing. One, two, three, four. That's it. There's four sets of silk reeling. There are 4 yin and yang cycles. Between each of the yin and yang cycles, there's a transition. Most of the transitions are very small. One of them is quite a bit bigger. And part of your decision making as an artist when you do this is to decide how to handle those transitions. Are you going to make them really small and invisible? Or maybe you're going to extend them a little bit? Because that decision, that emphasis, to lighten that emphasis or to emphasize it a little more, creates the color, the underlying color of your performance. So watch, I'm going to call the big one out. I'm going to stand a little bit of an angle here. Here's the big one. So do I just stop and then go back? Well, no. Why not just stop? You know, you stop here because that's kind of the function. Stop there and just turn around and go back the other way. Because what it says when you do that is you don't understand the flow of energy. Think of this as a tide. The tide is coming in on a beach. It's a long, shallow beach, right? The tide is coming in. It doesn't just stop. Right? It continues up the beach until all the energy inside that wave is done, is dissipated. You just continue. And then the wave starts to go back into the ocean, starts very slowly, picks up speed, and then it rolls, right? Those decisions about how you're going to handle those things determine the feeling of your form. Watch me do this one more time. I'm gonna stand at a little bit of an angle. Did you notice that the speed of my actions was constantly changing? Sometimes it was moving faster, sometimes it was moving slower. Master Zhang used to say in Chinese, and then we get a translation, all right? Tai Chi is not like a pond where the water just sits there. Tai Chi is like the ocean. All right? It's constantly moving. Sometimes the movement is small and gentle. Sometimes it's medium-sized. Sometimes it's really big. Right? And just like when you watch the ocean, sometimes the movement of the water as it comes up the beach is very gentle. Sometimes as the wave comes rolling into land, it looks pretty impressive. It's pretty big, it's pretty wild. right? Boom. Those are artistic decisions. But those decisions have to be made on an understanding of the underlying structure of the form. Otherwise, you're just, what are you doing? Imagine that you're learning a song in some foreign language that you don't speak. So some singing coach is teaching you the words, but the coach doesn't tell you what the words mean. So you don't know what to emphasize and what not to emphasize. You don't even know what the song means or what it's saying. So how are you going to sing the song? Think about a song in English that you know, or a song in French that you know, or a song in Hebrew that you know, right? That you know what the song is about. You put your feelings into it. Your feelings, some words are very tender, soft. Other words are strong and fast. But that has to do with your understanding. It's exactly the same in Tai Chi. You guys are all moving toward more advanced studenthood right now, right? So now you got to start thinking about this stuff. What are you saying when you do this form? What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? All right? Watch my heels, right? Now watch. You don't have to raise your heels when you do that, but when you raise your heels, what you're saying is, I'm putting more weight into this part of the movement. This is like a big crashing wave coming in on the coast. I'm a big crashing wave. Boom. All right? You don't have to be that dramatic about it. It doesn't need to be that extreme. But you still have that feeling. Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, oh. Wind up, hit. No, you don't have to be that violent about it, but that's what you're doing. Questions? All right. The next part of this move, of the first move, is this. All right. Jill, I want you to analyze that for us and tell us where the yin and yang cycles are.
Just the two circles.
Yes, just the
Okay.
two circles.
Okay. 1, 2. I don't know where. How do you want me to describe it? Do you want me to say where it starts?
I think the way we should describe it is first of all, when you do this, don't worry about giving me the right answer. What you should be thinking about, any of you, is just looking inside and going, all right, well, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I doing? The first thing you should think about is, when are you winding up and when are you hitting? In other words, the silk reeling.
Okay.
If you can get the silk reeling, then you've got the yin and yang cycle.
Uh-huh.
Go for it.
Okay. So winding up. How do you say hit? Or
Yes, well, you can use any language, but I'm using baseball language, right? So
okay,
baseball language is wind up, hit, all right?
all right. Well,
Go for it.
wind up, hit, wind up, hit, wind up, hit.
You know, when one begins to intellectually analyze what you're doing, it interferes with your natural body movement. All right? Those are two different systems. So relax your mind when you do this and let yourself really express the winding up and the hitting. That's one cycle really cleanly. So watch. I'm going to do it the easier way, right? Wind up, hit, and then just wait a moment. That's one cycle. Wind up, hit. Okay, keep going. Wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. Now, I made a decision. We made a couple of decisions in this little section. Not everybody would analyze it that way. It doesn't really matter. There's no right answer, but there has to be a logical answer. It's okay for it to be your answer, but I'm going to ask you what the logic of your answer is. So when you say, well, there's actually 14 yin and yang cycles in there, I'm going to go, all right, then show them to me one at a time. Most people would probably just simplify this and say there are 2 yin and yang cycles there, right? They would do this. 1, 2. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, it's an oversimplification. It's missing some of the beautiful detail. Now, you don't want the detail to be so baroque that it's just overwhelming. But it's nice to have a little detail in. So as we go through, we're going to make decisions, understanding that to a certain extent they're a little bit arbitrary, but they're based on some kind of logic. All right, so I make that a yin and yang cycle. Most people don't, but I do.
Well, I found that cycle even without you prompting me.
It just proves that great minds think alike. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you could go 4, 5, but to me that's too baroque. There's too much going on there. So for me personally, 4 is a good number for there. So we have 4 in the first part, we've got 4 in the second part. So we've got a total of 8 yin and yang cycles in this so far in this first move, and we're not even done with it. 8 yin and yang cycles is the same thing as saying 8 silk reeling cycles. wind up, push. Watch this. This is not going to be a huge movement. I'm going to move up here. You're not even going to see my face. All right, just watch this. All right. This is the Qigong. I'm not saying this is the only thing going on, but watch this. All right. It's not my hands doing it. It's this doing it. The hands just express it. I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over and over until you hear it in your dreams. The energy is created in the legs. It's directed by the waist. It's expressed in the hands. Watch my legs. You think, well, gee, that's just a little movement. Well, yeah, it is a little movement. But I weigh 245 pounds. Right? I can whip a lot of energy out. Just exactly like this. This is like my hands. My hands are really light. My God, what? They're a couple of pounds. There's no power in my hands per se. A little bit, but not much. Right? Where is the power coming from? It's coming from my feet and my legs. Boom. How is it being directed? It's being directed by my waist. Now, again, that's a simplification, but nevertheless, all right? And then it's being expressed in my hands, all right? Watch my legs. Watch my waist. All right? And then the hands are just a little icing on the cake. So when you analyze what you're doing, start by just feeling everything. And the first thing you're going to feel is where your weight is going. Where is my weight going? Oh, it's going up on the right, and then it's coming to the left, and then it's going back to the right. Anytime you feel a shift from side to side, you should be suspicious that a yin and yang cycle is happening. Of course. All right? Then check your waist out. Oh, it's turning to the right. Oh, now it's turning to the left. Oh, now it's turning back to the right. That's a cycle. And then your hands just sort of float around at the end. But you already have the answer with the legs and the waist. Huh? Watch this one. Now, you could just call that, in fact, maybe we should, just call that one cycle. Weight to the left, weight back to the right, weight to the left again. That's a cycle. Right, left, right. All right. Right, left, right, left. Watch what happens with the waist. It goes left, it goes right, and now it goes left again. So let's just simplify this and call that one cycle. You could make two out of it, but let's just make it one. Is this making sense? Okay, tomorrow we'll finish up this move, and then we'll go into move number 2, and you guys are going to analyze it. And we'll go like we started with Jill. We're going to go make sure everybody gets a chance to do some of this and kind of think and talk your way through it. Once you get this, it's like you will have learned a foreign language. You will have learned the underlying grammar of how this language actually works. Then you just apply it to everything. It simplifies everything because it's all related to these simple ideas. All right, questions? All right. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.